Following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys? Yeah! Go Cowboys!
This is the Players Lounge, broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star. Now, your hosts, Barry Church, Hek'ma Harrison, and Newy Scruggs.
All righty, it is Wednesday right here in Frisco, Texas, home of the Players Lounge, SWBC Podcast Studio, and the home of the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters here. It is locker room day. I was down there trying to see if I could get. I was hoping that Micah would be right off the top, so I was down there trying to see if I could get a little listen, but nobody's there yet. So they're saying maybe Micah will be at the end.
Okay.
Because I definitely want to hear what.
I got to hear that.
Yes, we want to hear what the All-Pro linebacker has to say this Wednesday. Even though he went on his podcast and explained his comments about the coach, it's just really clear that the coach was offended.
Oh, 100%.
And what 100%. he said was that was disrespectful. Yeah. He could say he didn't mean it in that way, but it was said. Mm-hmm. And I think all of us, I raised my hand included, we've all said things that were, I probably shouldn't have said it that way, but it was said. Mm-hmm. And so this gives Mike an opportunity to explain it even further about what's going on. And also just my question, it would just be, man, how do guys go forward, Hek'ma? Knowing that it's 3-6. Dak is now gone. How do you go forward?
You're in a pickle, and I think for these guys, they probably want to see what this nucleus of players are going to be going forward. You're young guys. Get an opportunity to see what you're going to look like next year. I mean, who are going to be those guys that's going to put it on the line knowing, that whoever if there is a coaching change, that you're being looked at, you're being watched to see who's quitting on the job. You look around the NFL, there are a lot of guys right now packing it in, knowing that they're on teams that ain't going nowhere, and they got a contract that ain't going nowhere. So you got a bunch of contracts, a lot of guys that are on one-year deals. I think you're watching those closely. Who wants to be re-signed? But I want to see some of our young guys. I really do. I think what we've seen from DeMarvion Overshown is he was hurt last year. So essentially this is his rookie season. You're getting an opportunity to see how special he is. Morris Leofau. The other linebacker, you're getting an opportunity to see how special that guy is. We don't know what we have in guys like Wanye Thomas.
Yeah, that's true.
We hadn't got an opportunity to judge guys like that. Just Awesome Richards got an opportunity to play at left tackle, and everybody came away from that game saying Awesome Richards looked good. So yes, you are in a situation at 3-6 where everybody's saying like the season is, it may be a lost cause to some, but you still got a bunch of games, still have a bunch of NFC East games ahead of you. So I'm really looking at their young talent just to see what these guys do going forward.
Yeah, and I can understand from a organizational standpoint, playing those young guys, playing the Wanye Thomases, the more Leofau. I keep killing his first name. Maurice. And Awesome Richards and those guys. I can see that because you want to see what you have in the future. But when you talk about those guys like a Jordan Lewis, those guys that are on those one-year deals, when you start seeing these young guys getting more and more playing time out there, trying to see what they got in the back of your mind, you think, oh man, it's a wrap. Yeah, the season's done. It's over with. So it becomes extremely tough for those veterans out there to go ahead and be the leaders that this team needs, because they understand, like, man, well, if the coaching staff wants to see these young guys, they want to see what they got for the future. Basically, the season's done. The season's done because we're not going to put our best foot forward. So it's tough. It's a tough situation because you got to know what you're getting in the future. But those guys on those one-year deals, man, it becomes then it's like, man, I got to put good tape out there. That's when you become, I don't want to say selfish, but in a way you become selfish as a player because you're like, man, I can't put bad tape on there, especially if I'm going into a contract year. I don't want the last image of me when these teams look at it. It's, man, this dude out here getting cookied, getting burnt. Yeah. So it's a tough pickle. I've been in that situation, but it becomes a little bit selfish, and you got to look out for yourself.
So, Chuma Ndoga, ready to come back. Another offensive tackle in the mix here.
It might be curtains for my man. Especially after, Rich, he went in there and he did his thing, man. Against a good defensive line.
And that was my next question of, okay, so what do you do when you start saying, all right, this is where the season is,
Can he
guys?
play right tackle?
Like I said, it's interesting here. Just how do you go forward toward, hey, here's a veteran and you're the head coach. I mean, the head coach is still the coach. So you're trying to, even if his contract's up, so even if he's not here, you want to put out a team that looks like it's fighting so you can go, coach next year.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a fact.
And other guys who are on the coaching staff. So so I would not just simply say, well, the Chuma's done, but Austin Richards did look good. But I look at things like that. These are decisions that are going to have to be made right now. And this is one more tackle that's there. When do you say to Terrence Steele, if it keeps going the way it's going, when do you make a look there? So it's some serious questions, and I think this week is just another week where if it doesn't go, if it goes from 3 to 6 to 3 to 7, and then you got a short week with Thanksgiving coming to me, this is woof.
Not only that, the running back position. I mean, what do if you're Rico, if you're Deuce, and let's just say a new coaching staff does come in, if they don't extend Mike. Where their tape at? You got to be like, man, I got to put some tape on the field. Are we going to continue to give, Zeke these carries? Or are we going to see what we got in a Deuce? Are we going to see what we got in a Rico? So, I mean, there's a lot of positions that, right now, it seems like, guys got to start fighting for some reps out there, man, or it's going to be tough.
Yeah,
it's going to be tough.
I mean, you're there right now. You're there, and you can look at the numbers. If there was any fight, if you saw anything as far as your offense, playing without Dak, I think is probably. Obviously, last week you saw that's the biggest adjustment. Your offense, your passing game had nothing, and that's coming off of a running game that really didn't give you anything. But oddly enough, the running game, I believe, gave you 95 yards, and that was a hell of a lot more than what you were getting previously. Yeah, but no way you could have gotten yourself prepared to throw for 49 yards in a four-quarter football game.
Unheard of.
And then what? Your quarterback? No, I was gonna say on the 95 yards, that's the final result.
Yeah.
But how much of that was after the competitive phase?
There it is.
Once you was up 20 and they were like, hey, go ahead. As a former player, here's Micah Parsons back. He's got 3 sacks. Is it, in your mind, like too late for him to make a Pro Bowl run?
Yeah. I mean, he would have to go nuclear. Like, he would have to get, was it final 8 games?
Yeah.
He'd have to get at least 10 sacks in the final 8. Because, it's tough. I've seen guys ball out. But if your record is trash and your defensive ranking is trash, I mean, it's going to be hard for cats to put you on, a Pro Bowl ballot. I remember one year, I think it was Jared Sunsenball, he had like 5 or 6 interceptions, but our defense was one of the worst passing defense in the National Football League. So it's like, it's going to be extremely tough. Micah Parsons has the name to where if he goes out there and raffles off a couple sacks, he can get in there maybe as an alternate. But as far as like that first Pro Bowl ballot Pro Bowl guy, he would have to go nuclear in these last 8 games. I'm talking about 10 sacks. He would have to end the season with 13, 14 sacks to even get consideration. I mean, in the NFC, who's your top guy in the NFC when you're talking about coming off the edge? A lot of those guys are in the AFC, but I mean, he would have, in my opinion, he would have to go nuclear, man.
And when it comes to your top 5 in sacks right now, you got Hendrickson's got 11 from Cincinnati. Then it's the NFC East guy is number 2. That's Lawrence. He's got 9. Dexter Fowler. Fowler's got 8.5.
Fowler got 8. Man,
8.5.
shout out to Fowler, man.
McDonald of the Jets has 8. And how about this? The 5th leading sacker right now in the league is Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah.
He's
been out for how long now?
Since the Cowboy game.
Man. He's been out for how long now?
IPLT,
still
man. That's wow.
Still balling.
That's crazy.
It is.
So the Overshown leads the Cowboys in sacks right now, going 4, and then Micah's got 3. But I just wonder, just from the standpoint, because when you're a decorated player who's used to this, he's missed time through injury. In his mind, he made, hey man, I came back. You saw me get the sack. I'm still that guy. When I was in here, I just wonder, how does that go? And then how do guys in the room feel about that? Because these guys take pride in.
Oh yeah, you gotta go get your numbers, man.
No, and I'm with you, Church. I think he would definitely have to go off.
Yeah.
But it was amazing to see his impact on the defense.
That's a fact.
after missing those few weeks, and then it brought the question like, well, damn, what would DaRon Bland look like? What would this defense look like when you're able to cut down those big plays because you have a cornerback that teams are not purposely attacking?
Yeah.
I think that's another thing that I think when you start looking at the injuries for the Cowboys, if they could get some of those guys back, what impact would having a DaRon Bland be for this team? What impact would having the Brandon Cooks be for the Cowboys offense? Because right now, I mean, look, and I'm not trying to bash anybody. I'm just looking at the final results. I'm looking competitive phase of the game. You don't have enough wide receivers that are creating separation out there that are even bona fide playmakers to make a difference in conjunction with CeeDee Lamb. So I mean, we're putting a lot of pressure on Ferg, Kittle, Kelsey, but because that production is not there, and he's also fumbled the ball, you doubt him and the way that they're drawing up plays. But what can, if you got a guy like Brandon Cooks back that understands spacing and you don't have 4 wide receivers running into one area, what could that benefit your offense as well?
Oh, it could. It could benefit it a lot because, like you said, he's a smart wide receiver and he understands zones, and that's something. I'm not saying the rest of these guys don't understand football or anything like that, but when you talk about a Brandon Cooks, it's a guy that's had multiple 1,000-yard seasons, and he understands where to sit down, where to be quarterback friendly, and that's just something that we haven't seen from the Tolberts of the world, the Brookses of the world out there. Maybe we can get some from Mingo. I'm excited to see what he can bring to the table. Big athletic dude, so maybe he can win some one-on-one matchups. But as far as, wide receiver, I think Cooks, and I was surprised because I'm like, man, Cooks, he really wasn't doing much, man. He will be all right.
Right.
Man, they ended up missing that veteran presence in that wide receiver room, so that's going to be tough. But when you talk about Bland, that's an interesting question. Do you come back? If you're Bland, do you?
Basically, talking to McCarthy on Monday, it was don't look for Bland or Cooks this week.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
So don't look for them.
Especially if you Bland. Your last tape, you put on there 14 interceptions.
Right.
So
it speaks for itself.
Yeah, like I'm like,
and he's literally in the position to where you can't, extending him. Look, he's one of those. He's at his third year. So
this is his third. Yeah,
this is his third year. So next year, like this summer, they got to start ripping up deals and talking about paying future out to man. It is a pickle.
Because y'all know how it works. He comes back from injury. Let's just say he comes back from it, and let's just say he goes out there and he gets bombed on. He's been out for a while. A little bit rusty. The last stretch of games, he gets bombed on a little bit. When they come back to them tables, they go, hey man, it wasn't that same production that we saw.
You're not the same guy.
Take this right here.
Yeah.
But y'all know how it is.
I think after the year that he had last year, you'd be that's rich. Guys coming up, and I'm talking to somebody that know how it works. I'm not questioning that. I'm just saying he's fighting back from injury, and what he did last season, healthy.
He was a baller.
He was a baller. And him and Gilly, that's just a matchup that I think if you were able to get some of that back, maybe that would help you. Because come on, man, you watched the tape, you saw what Philadelphia was doing, you saw exactly what Kellen Moore. He came in with the game plan on who he was going to attack, and they went at him. And this is a defense that hasn't generated many turnovers at all. And then last week it was like out of the blue. Diggs, Trayvon steps in front of the tight end and gets it. He's like, wait a minute, we still can get. What? That's still a part of our defense, and you missed that because it just seemed like it was automatic for Bland. Yeah. It was automatic for Bland. Then on top of that, he was taking it back to the hizzy.
Oh yeah. He was cribbing it. He was cribbing it, man. No doubt about it.
It's a long time ago, guys.
It was.
A long time ago.
It's reminiscing right now. This is reminiscing.
2023.
Yeah.
Then 2024 came. And whatever. On the other side of the break. No, I just want you both to think about this. Just it doesn't have to be deep because it's a really quick study. What all was lost and snatched and taken away from this organization after that Green Bay playoff loss? Because it ain't been the same. We'll do that next with Hek'ma Harris and Barry Church. I'm Newy Scruggs. Players Lounge brought to you by Aristocrat Gaming on DallasCowboys.com.
Hey there, Cowboys Nation. Kyle Yeomans here, sharing that same team that brought you Buffalo, bringing NFL casino games that show America's team on and off the reels. Aristocrat is changing the game with a new experience. Football fans, this means you can pick your team and play your team. Check out the Cowboys-themed casino games developed by Aristocrat, a proud sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. Gambling problem? Please contact the U.S. National Problem Gambling Helpline at 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-GAMBLER for 21 and over.
Hey Cowboy fans, I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. But lately, I've been learning a new game, crypto. Sound confusing? Don't worry, even us pros were rookies in crypto once. That's why I trust blockchain.com. They make crypto easy. No confusing jargon, just the tools to help you win.
Prescott keeps it, slides with a first down.
Invest like your icons, where everyone is a rookie in crypto with blockchain.com.
Perfect throw, my goodness. Wow, did he ever thread the needle?
Visit blockchain.com/cowboys to get started.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
Are you the 2024 Dallas Cowboys Fan of the Year? The Dallas Cowboys and Captain Morgan are celebrating extraordinary, inspiring, and original fans. Nominate yourself or the biggest Cowboys fan you know for a chance to be named the 2024 Fan of the Year and win prizes, including a trip to Super Bowl 59. Visit DallasCowboys.com/Fan of the Year. Go Cowboys! Back to the Players Lounge.
Cowboy Nation, it's time to get the giving season going. Tune in to see country music superstar Lainey Wilson and special guests perform during Salvation Army's annual Red Kettle Kickoff Halftime Show this Thanksgiving on Fox. Every donation stays in the community to provide help and hope for those in need. So tune in to watch the Cowboys, Giants, and Lainey Wilson this Thanksgiving and give today at SalvationArmyUSA.org.
That is Hek'ma Harrison with the read. Appreciate you very much. Barry Church, former Cowboy Safeties here. I am Newy Scruggs. This is the Players Lounge brought to you by Aristocrat Gaming. Barry this morning was hanging out at an event in Matt Pittman of Meat Church, who's based out of Waxahachie. Used to work for the Stars organization, then branched out, became a barbecue guru, one of the best in the game. But seriously, Hek'ma, his rubs, you can definitely add them on broccoli. My kid is taking them and roasted them. I mean, it's sensational. Carrots and stuff. So this is I recommend the Holy Voodoo. That's my favorite one.
I'm gonna have to try that.
That's the one he's got that's really good.
Holy Voodoo.
Holy Voodoo. I made did a Salisbury steak in a crock pot last week and used the Holy Cow. Added that in there. So, I mean, it's sensational rubs. And then some of the, like the honey hog, if you're doing more, some chicken, some pork kind of thing. So you're not going to go wrong. You're not going wrong. But yes, as a vegetarian diet, man, definitely the rubs get in there too, man. They make it go, woo.
When did he start that? I should have asked him, when did you start this? Because it hasn't been around that long, right, if I'm not mistaken?
Me Church, no.
You know, he just got really big. He's been doing it for a minute and was doing it on a part-time basis, but then he went next level, and then he got a deal with Green Egg, and then moved on over to the Traegers, and then that kind of took him up more. And then being on Jimmy Fallon and other people, and then of course Dak hooking up with him.
He was telling me he's do some cooking stuff with Dak. So
and then over SMU, he and Rick Hart, the AD over there. Shout out to SMU, playing really good right now. Finishing top 15 in the college football playoff rankings. So did that over there.
See, I did that.
It's coming.
It is.
Hey, look, man. I hope SMU can get there, man.
You think they're gonna get to the play? What are they? The AAC?
No, they moved from the AAC over to the ACC.
So they're okay.
So
and they were Miami, Florida
Is that conference
State.
Automatic? You win it, you automatic bid. Okay.
Yes. So they're in first place. Place. So they got Boston College. Bill O'Brien is coaching Boston College. So they're coming to Dallas this weekend. So
that's a tough test.
He's gonna make it a 4-quarter game.
Yeah.
BC's gonna make it a 4-quarter. I believe SMU's favored by a touchdown.
Does SMU play Miami this year?
No.
They don't play Miami. But do the ACC have a championship?
Yes, they do.
They do in Charlotte.
Okay, so they do have a championship.
SMU got Florida State. That was their first.
Man, though, you talk about a fall of a program. Oh my gosh, man!
First mistake, not hiring Prime.
I said, what in the heck?
First mistake.
First mistake. And it all was from the first game on. I was just like, dang.
For a minute, they wanted to fire Norvell before last year, but they didn't have the money because they were still paying off Taggart's deal. So they weren't in a position to hire.
I thought she was going to say, what's the guy that got fired from A&M? I was like, damn, he getting money everywhere. Jimbo, yeah.
Like, Jimbo got big pockets, man. Jimbo.
Ain't heard from Jimbo since.
He over there. I'm over here chilling.
No, Jimbo is. You can hear Jimbo on radio show. Jimbo plotting.
He plotting his return.
He out there plotting. He letting you know he's available.
I'm gonna be back.
Right now, he letting you know he's available.
The return.
So for SMU, they get Boston College this weekend, then they go to Virginia, and then they are at home to end the season against California. Boston College right now is 5-4. Virginia is 5-4, and California is 5-4.
I'm gonna tell y'all the dangerous thing about SMU is centrally located in Dallas. They don't have to leave the state to get talent. They can stay right where they are and just recruit the Metroplex and have a team. Look, that's the danger of SMU being good, because teams like Texas that come up 35, other teams around that have to A&Ms and all, they are looking at what SMU, because when you start talking about NIL, especially because that's all it comes down to.
It's the bread.
It's the bread. Mm-hmm. And SMU can compete with anybody. It's now the facilities are definitely not like Texas.
Yeah.
The stadium definitely not like Texas, but they've made some modifications. They're in a position, and especially if they bought their way into the ACC. They literally paid to be a part of the conference. They're not taking any of the conference dollars.
TV money.
They said, we don't want it. That's when you know you got bread.
Let me get long money.
Just let me in.
Just let me get up in there.
I know they plotting on the SEC. I know, and people say it's not a good move, but they plotting to get into the SEC. I'm just,
that's a tough.
But dog, if they do it and if they get the athletes to compete at that level, that's the only thing.
Yeah.
It's just getting like the Missouris of the world, the OUs, right? They just don't have the athletes to compete. SMU can do it overnight with their NIL.
They gotta get them trenches right.
They can do it overnight with their NIL.
That's true.
They're not going into the SEC because Texas and A&M would make sure that doesn't happen. The play for anybody in the state of Texas, outside of Texas and A&M, your play, if you can, is the Big Ten. Because at some point in time, if you're the Big Ten, what you want to do is to get into Texas because of the TV dollars. It's all about the TV market. Mm-hmm. And that was one reason why they took Rutgers over, talking about it's New York. Rutgers is in New Jersey, but that was the premise.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So if you're the Big Ten at this point in time, you want to get into Texas because now Dallas-Fort Worth has moved up. Dallas-Fort Worth is now the 4th largest TV market.
Damn.
Houston's a top 10 TV market. And then, of course, Austin and San Antonio are both growing. Mm-hmm. So if you're the Big Ten, to me, that next thing is to try to get down here. So if you're SMU, TCU, Baylor, Texas Tech, you want to be looking to see what could I do to go to Big Ten.
Have you ever heard of a school paying into a conference? Is there ever? I don't know the answer to this, so I'm asking you. No. And that's why I'm saying that they play. Whether it happens or not, if I'm SMU, I'm trying to get into the SEC. Because then I can recruit on the same level as Texas. There's no more, but come play in the SEC. Everybody, come on now. When you're in the recruiting, when I'm in your living room saying, son, do you really want to go play in the Big Ten, play in the cold, or come play in the SEC? Play Texas, stay right here at the house. I'm telling you, that's a recruiting tactic. Yeah. And if they got the money to pay in, it's hard to keep them out.
Mm-hmm. Here's the other problem. If you're saying now they'll go to the SEC and not take any TV dollars, is that what you're saying? You're thinking they would do that because
they did it. They did it in the ACC. It's paying off on their number one. And at first they look stupid for doing it. They don't look too stupid right now.
Yeah. One of the bigger issues is truly, and one reason why they're able to make the ACC run is because people don't want to split the pie. And if you're trying to even go into the SEC, it's about splitting pie. One reason why they wanted the Big 12 because the Big 12 schools we don't want to split any pie with them. It's a real challenge. I just think the SEC right now, just in my opinion, SEC's closed. They know they're the biggest, baddest thing on the block. They're not anybody else. It doesn't. Look at what they added. They went on and added arguably the biggest name outside of Notre Dame in college football.
Texas.
In Texas.
Yeah.
And then they brought Oklahoma with them because it's Oklahoma. It ain't doing Oklahoma no good right now.
It ain't doing them. Yes, what I'm saying.
They get beat upside the head.
Schmack.
Yes.
But you got Texas. But Sankey's not going to, and you look at everything that they've always added, it's always been a strategic thing. You can look at Missouri and like, well, who's Missouri? Missouri was TV markets and increasing it. SMU is not going to give them anything that they don't already have.
Yeah.
And even when people say, well, what about Florida State? Like Florida State and Clemson trying to go to the SEC. I'm like, guys, why would Florida even want to entertain that? Or they don't need, basically, they're already in Florida. They don't need Florida State.
Yeah.
And then Clemson, they got South Carolina. Now, having lived in the state, South Carolina football is big down there, but hey, we're in the state. We don't need Clemson. We are still the SEC without those dudes. You bring in Texas, even though you had A&M, Texas is bigger than A&M. We know this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then Oklahoma, okay, we'll take you too. But Sankey's not adding anything. He don't need to.
He doesn't need to, but you think about the way that, and I'm just looking at the way this college playoff thing is ranking out. It's all of your Power Fives, teams that get the top draw consideration right off the bat. Teams like SMU, again, they could chill out in the ACC and make it there each and every year. It wouldn't be a problem for them. But in schools like that, especially with the type of money that they have, they want to get to the top of the food chain. They're not going to be satisfied with staying down at the bottom of the barrel. And, oh, by the way, we can out-recruit all of these guys. We got the same amount of money.
I hear what you said, what they want, but I'm looking at the other side. And that's been these conversations with people I've been having through the years of just, okay, what does it benefit me, conference? And then it's the membership within the conference. Those are always the issues. Because like Brett Yormark, who's running the Big 12, Brett Yormark wanted UConn badly. Wanted them badly. But the members said, nah, we don't want it. Brett's whole thing was, well, what we need to do in the next TV deal is separate football and basketball. Because the Big 12 is the best basketball league. He's like, we want to sell basketball in the one thing, take football and sell it in another. And if we're going to sell basketball, why not get UConn and UConn in that whole tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. But the membership was like, nah, we don't want to do that. And so, and this is the commissioner. But this is a very interesting thing. And then the whole pie thing is what I consistently, when I talk to the different ADs and coaches, like, man, we don't want to split the pie. People talk about what happened in the Big Ten between Oregon and Washington. When they first had the vote to try to keep the Pac-12 together, dude came out there and was like, yeah, well, this is an Apple deal, and we're going to have to kind of get subscriptions. And people were like, no. Where's the real dollars up front? They're like, that. Well, you're like a shell game.
No.
So I got you 50, but only 35 is guaranteed. We got to come out here and sell and get to here. They were like, no.
Too much work.
So they went to the Big Ten. But the big thing is like the network's got to give you the money. The network's like, we're not giving Oregon and Washington a full share. We're not giving you a full share. You ain't getting 50 mil. We'll give you half. Get 25 to Washington, 25 to Oregon. So Oregon is not getting the same money that Indiana's getting.
Wow.
They don't get the full share.
And they the top dogs.
That's what I'm saying.
Wow. Oregon is not getting what Purdue is getting. They're getting it.
Wow.
But they wanted to get in that because it was like, hey, you can either go there or you can try to sit up here and see if you can get this Big 12. They're like, nah, we want to go to the Pac-10 because the Pac-10, and for a certain amount of time they'll build up. They're going to let them build up. But right now they coming in, man, taking half the check.
Yeah,
well, you the top dog too.
And these things, and so when you had the border schools, Arizona State, Arizona, Colorado, and Utah all go to the Big 12, because Brett Yormark told them, we taking 4, you better jump in here. Because Colorado was the first to get on. I got 3 left. Who's coming? Stanford and Cal, well, we trying to wait and see.
They waited too long.
So, yeah, they waited too long. So the spots I got, like, dude, they was on the phone. Hey, nah, we'll take half. Nah. Because the other members are like, we're not diluting this pie anymore. We're not going to do it. Sorry. You should have jumped in there. Then what's crazy, you remember this, man, when Oklahoma and Texas went to the SEC, people were trying to run out the Big 12. They were begging the Pac to please take us, please, please, please. They were dudes who was Big 12 members who went to Texas and said, look, man, if you stay, we'll give you more of our pie. Yeah. Hey, man,
we'll give you a piece of mind.
Right.
Yeah.
Literally. Hey, man, please don't go. Barry, don't go. Barry, I'm gonna give you 25% of the pie I got right now. Just stay. That's how bad it was, man. And they said no. So it's that whole thing of Hek'ma. Well, you're correct of what SMU would like to get to. Yeah. I mean, how cool would it be to see LSU and Arkansas and Georgia coming to your place? But the SEC right now, they're not trying to do anything like that.
They're caked up.
But hey, if you could stay in the ACC right now and go win that league and get your automatic, it may be better for you. Yeah. Maybe better for you. All right, we blew the segment, but let's. We did that.
Hey,
but we had fun. We had fun. That is what the Players Lounge is. We had fun. What was taken from this organization in that Green Bay loss? Because they have not won at home since. There's definitely some problems going on right now. We're not going to solve it, but we can at least just kind of wonder, because I do think something happened to their souls after that game, because this
the soul snatch.
Something ain't been the same since 2024 here with these Cowboys. Hek'ma Harris and Barry Church. I'm Newy Scruggs. This is Players Lounge, brought to you by Aristocrat Game.
Ooh. I know what they.
Hey, Danny McCray here for Smoothie King. You know every great workout deserves a great reward. So treat yourself right with new coconut smoothie bowls. Made with real fruit, crunchy, purely Elizabeth granola, creamy coconut, and topped with the chocolate hazelnut or honey drizzle. With 2 new flavors, it's perfect for you and the workout buddy. So you both can stay on track even after you leave the track. Scoop up new coconut smoothie bowls only at Smoothie King, the official smoothie of the Dallas Cowboys.
Hey y'all, Matt Pittman of Meat Church here. With football season kicking off, I'm already gearing up to bring the smoker back to AT&T Stadium for some epic tailgates. But with that Texas heat, it's crucial to keep my beer hand cramping cold. That's where Yeti's insulated Colster can cooler comes in clutch. This year, you can even get them with the iconic star engraved on the side. Licensed Yeti Cowboys gear is now available at Stadium Pro Shops, concessions, and on Yeti.com. Check it out today. Yeti, official cooler and drinkware of the Dallas Cowboys.
To kick off the 2024 NFL season, Boss teamed up with the Cowboys and Micah Parsons to launch an iconic apparel collection. The Boss Cowboys collection unites football and fashion while reflecting what it truly means to be a boss. Arriving just in time for the start of the season, the distinctive attire from the latest Boss Cowboys expansion offers sports aficionados and true bosses the chance to show their team spirit and style. Get yours today at nflshop.com/HugoBoss, HugoBoss.com, and Boss retail stores. # be your own boss.
Raising Cane's presents the other rules of football. Rule 1, any broadcast without the express edition of cook-to-order Cane's chicken fingers is prohibited. Rule 12, no crinkle-cut fries, Texas toast, or craveable Cane's sauce constitutes an illegal formation. And Rule 31, anybody who loves to feed their game face is an eligible receiver of Cane's. When it comes to winning game day, Cane's rules. Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love. Go Cowboys.
Back to the Players Lounge.
The most electrifying event of the holiday season is here. Cowboys Christmas Extravaganza, powered by Reliant, is back at the Star in Frisco. Join us every Friday and Saturday night from November 22nd through December 21st for the spectacular holiday show with Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, rhythm and blues, rowdy Santa Claus, and surprise tree lighting appearances from your favorite Cowboy heroes. Best of all, the show is free. For details, visit thestardistrict.com. Don't miss out on the holiday magic.
I saw the list of names they've got over there, man. So they're going to have some good folks over there.
Guys lighting the trees?
Yeah, lighting the trees.
Hey, you don't lit the tree, huh?
Yeah, they, hey, guess I wasn't good enough, man.
Hey, sore spot. Yay. My bad, dog. I'm so
all good, man.
Yo, I just...
Hek'ma Harrison, Safety Cowboy Church. Barry Church, I'm Newy Scruggs. Let's not do that. So
assuming.
The Cowboys last year had Super Bowl hopes, and their first playoff game was at home against the Green Bay Packers, a team that was kind of struggling a little bit during the year, caught fire at the end with a first-time starter, Jordan Love. They came in here and they beat the tar out the Cowboys, threw 48 points on them. Big disappointing loss. And the Cowboys have not won at home since. So in 2024, the Cowboys are over. And the losses that they've had this year, basically they've been down 20 points in every single one of them. So it's bad. And I had a lady at the gym, man, a spin instructor says, Newy, your Cowboys are over. She ain't even a sports fan.
Man.
I'm like, well, she...
The streets is talking like that.
Damn. Like I play for. What's up? It's over for you.
You're gonna sweating your life out.
Over, right? Over.
By the way, Newy.
Right.
After all that punishment you just received.
Right. But Paula, you ain't even follow football like that. It's over.
Everybody getting smoked.
Right. So somewhere along the way, something was lost that day because it hasn't been the same since. A team that has won 12 games 3 years in a row, went to the playoffs. It's bad. And now we know Dak Prescott's gone for the year. So I'll start with you, Hek'ma. What happened that day that has led to this, in your opinion?
Man, and Newy, honestly, I don't think it was the players. I think it was Jerry. I think it was Jerry in the box after that Green Bay game. He'd seen enough. I think you got this. You got that in San Francisco twice. Yeah. San Fran at home, right? And now Green Bay rolls out here in the biggest moment. You've won all these games at home, and your team comes out and lays a goose egg for you. I think from that moment on, we've been asking the question about, building this team and going out in free agency and doing all these other things that Jerry hasn't been willing to do. He hasn't been willing to go out and get even a Joe Mixon. Yeah. Not even Joe, let alone Derrick Henry, He hadn't been willing to go out to get, D-Hop or any of those guys. It was something that he saw that it was, and I don't subscribe to the rebuild or soft rebuild, however you want to put it. I just don't. But I think it was something in him that's like, nah. We got a year to get these deals done. I'm gonna stay pat with what I got. This coaching staff, we still got a year under this. I think something changed with the organization from the front office standpoint.
So stay right here. Let me ask you: when you hear and you say it's Jerry, do you think he took it personal?
Hell yeah.
Like, man, I've been paying guys.
Hell yeah.
100%.
Where's the ROI, return on investment?
Yes. Okay. And again, I think the players. These guys are they're dealing with what they have. I mean, we're just talking about the talent that's on your 53. And I think you look at this team now, even with all the injuries on your defense, you're like, man, how did we overlook this? Or how are guys not able to get on the Marquise? How are these guys not able to get on the field? How is these guys still playing on this contract right now? Why didn't that guy get cut during summer training? It's a lot of that. And I believe that, again, the lack of going out and pursuing high dollar free agents and even bringing in those guys that possibly could have helped you internally, if we're just talking about defensive tackle position. Just if we're just talking about defensive tackle.
Yeah.
Church?
I think a confidence was taken, to be honest with you. I mean, this team was loaded last year. I don't know how many all-pros they had. It had to be about 5 or 6 at least. 9 all-pros. 9 all-pros. And you're rattling off 3 straight 12-5 seasons. But what to me was the main thing about all 3 of those seasons is one question was, what can they do against winning teams? What can they do against playoff caliber teams? Last year they eked one out against Detroit. Philadelphia, I believe they split that series. But other than that, there was always those questions. You're going to beat up on the Washingtons. You're going to beat up on the New York Giants. How can we get this team to the next level? You get to Green Bay, and Green Bay shellacks you. Not only everybody was talking about how to run defense. That's the only Achilles heel this team has. Man, Green Bay did it through the ground and through the air on you. And so you're looking at it, you're just like, man, wait, we was loaded, all pro. We had all this talent and a young team led by a quarterback. I believe that was his first go, right? That was his first season fully starting. Yeah. Came in there and shellacked us. I mean, that does something to your confidence as a group, because you're thinking, all right, I could, and I could be wrong, but in my opinion, they was looking past Green Bay. They was thinking, all right, we gonna get this W, and then we gonna go on to that NFC Championship round. And they came in there, and Green Bay from the get-go just looked like they were the better team or the more hungry team. out there. And to me, that screams that, you got your confidence snatched. And they haven't recovered from that since. I mean, you go into Cleveland, you get a good win against a team that was minus the 2 tackles. I thought, Cleveland was going to be a pro or a playoff team going into this thing. So I'm like, man, that's a solid victory. Hey, this team is on its way. And then from there on, you just look and see, man, maybe this team, wasn't as good as we had thought they were going into the preseason. So to me, it has to do with confidence, man. It has to be.
Just went here, looked at our notes. Green Bay was a 7-point underdog in that game. I picked Dallas to win 31-20. Church, you had it closer. You had 24-21 Dallas. Danny McCray had it a 7-point Dallas win, 27-20. And heck, you had it 44-23 Dallas.
I ain't gonna smoke him. He got 40 burger on the one. Hey,
Just
I'm the one that overlooked.
So all of us, pretty much, we thought they were going to handle business.
Yeah, man. 44.
And
Oh, I know that. Hey, I know that. What was that Friday show? Probably was going.
Oh yeah,
we finna scrape these boys.
Yeah, man. We gonna in the block,
man.
44, they boy, they head.
The Cowboys they had been steamrolling at home.
Yeah,
been doing well at home.
Yeah,
and said something was snatched. A soul was snatched that day. They have not been the same team. I think about the defensive line, which even in that 12-5 season, it was 2 years of people figuring out the way to beat the Cowboys by running the ball. Mm-hmm. Remember those commercials when they did with the little Flexall seal, that little thing?
Yeah, fix it.
Right, a little fix it thing, and the guy like I put this on the bottom of a boat, and you see him
see the boat ride.
You see him. That's like they put Flexall one more time on that D line, and it just fell through. It's fallen through. Tyler Biadasz. I didn't agree with them paying him $10 million. I thought they should let him go, but clearly to take someone who's never played center in college and put him here in the National Football League is an adjustment. Mm-hmm. Look, Cooper Beebe may end up being a good player who makes Pro Bowls, but right now it's an adjustment. Yeah. And in my opinion, I think you played. I didn't play. But I just feel like when you try to tell somebody to do something they've never done before at the highest level,
it's tough.
Different.
Man, that's a tough challenge.
That's like asking a guy that plays nickel corner. His whole career played nickel corner. I'm a slot guy. You get an injury, you got a bump on the outside. Like that, it's a whole different world when you're dealing with that. That's why what Bland did was remarkable.
Absolutely.
So that's one on the offensive line. Now you're asking a guy in Guyton who is a right tackle at Oklahoma. Hey, man, come to the National Football League, go play on the left side, and there's going to be a couple pass rushes you're going to see your first 7 weeks. That's that Flexall. It broke open, man. It's tough.
Overestimation. You overestimated, and you have talked about Biadasz quite a lot, and you talked about he outpriced himself, basically. Mm-hmm. But you pay still. You pay still. You let Biadasz walk, and it's like, man, maybe you should have rethought a lot of that because you basically gave up the middle of the field right now. Yeah. You haven't had any protection in the middle of your field right now with the rookie. And oh, by the way, I don't care how smart they are. Like you said, man, that's a challenge to be thrown in a situation like that. And these guys are not, living up to it. It's just hard for them. And defensively, I think you knew what. Didn't we know? What his shortcomings were last season. We kind of saw it, and I think you already kind of felt like, regardless of who you brought in as a defensive coordinator, you were going to need to get him more help in the middle in that rotation.
Mm-hmm. They decided to trust somebody without any time proof of consistency. Yeah. That was a mistake.
I don't know if it. Yeah, right. That is a mistake. But you already knew what he was. Mm-hmm. What did you think was going to happen night and day from what you saw the first year?
Okay, that's a good question. They're thinking, hey, what did we see from Terrence Steele? Spent his his year as an undrafted free agent, and he was getting towed pretty good. And then he made the adjustments and improved. We saw Jalen Tolbert improve. We had seen them working with guys, and they developed. My issue was, hey, don't trust him. And oh, by the way, you need more than him anyway. He and Odigizua, that's just not enough.
Right.
and they didn't address it. And now you got a first place schedule with the kind of defenses and guys they were facing, man. It's bad. Houston comes in this week. There's some dudes over there that can get to you, man. It's tough, but hey, we didn't solve the world problem. We just at least debated and chatted.
Then you let all your depth pieces walk, like the Armstrongs, the Fowlers of the world.
They thought they had depth pieces, and then you take the injuries with it. You take a Sam Williams goes down.
Yeah, that was big. Sam Williams went down.
So
D-Law.
the guys you thought were going to help, and then your starters going. It cratered, man. It cratered, and it's a bad. You made a bad bet on some things, and it just hasn't happened. And right now, the Cowboys have the 11th overall pick in the draft.
Draft picks ain't hitting. Schoolmaker.
Let me go in the show right there. Hek'ma Harrison.
Schoolmaker, man. Step up, baby.
Barry Church.
What do you got, like 5 snaps?
We
the past 3 games?
Yeah.
Hate to see it, man.
Michigan, man.
Go blue.
Hail to the victors. Media Mash is coming up at 3 o'clock. We'll talk to you tomorrow right here on the Players Lounge. Bye.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!